Hello everybody and welcome to the Rush Reality VR Games of the Year 2020. Now it's no secret that this year's been a bit of a stinker, but there's one area that's really excelled and that is gaming, and in particular VR gaming. Today I'm going to take you through 6 of my favourite games of the year. Now a disclaimer, I haven't played every game that's come out this year, but I have played way too many for one person. So today I'm going to take you through some of my favourites. We're going to kick off with number 6. Number 6 is Star Wars Squadrons. This is a game that came out of nowhere. It was announced halfway through the year and released shortly afterwards. We knew it was going to feature VR content, but we didn't know to what extent. And it turned out and released, the entire game was playable in VR and it played really, really well. The visuals are just amazing. There's nothing quite like flying over an Empire starship in your little X-Wing, looking around and seeing the sights. The cockpit is laid out exactly as you'd imagine it to be. It's amazing. The game plays fantastically in both platform and in VR, but VR is where the fun is really at. The game features a great campaign with 2 intertwining stories you play as both the Rebel Alliance and the Galactic Empire. It's a really engaging story and it keeps you coming back for more. But it's the multiplayer, for me, where the game really shines. So you're placed in a small squad against another team in a range of modes, and there's some really, really fun experiences to be had. There's some sim-like mechanics where you can manage your shields, you can boost all your power to your guns, you can shift your power towards speed so you can get away from a situation really quickly, and there's some really interesting maneuvers you can learn and utilise in that multiplayer field. For me, it was a really exciting learning curve. The more you put into it, the more you get out of it, and it's a really, really fun game. If you haven't been able to try it out yet, then give it a go. I think even the devs have been surprised about how well this has been received. When it was first announced, there wasn't due to be any more content coming further down the line, but since it's gone so well that they have provided more content. They've provided new vehicles, and there's more content coming further down the line. And that brings us to our number 5 entry, which for me came out of nowhere. If I did this list 2 weeks ago, this game wouldn't have been featured, but it has made the list. I'm talking about Microsoft Flight Simulator. So this game launched a while back, but it launched without VR content. It was a flat panel game, and that in itself was an amazing game, but the VR content has taken it to a truly new level, and it's amazing. And most of the time I've spent in this has been in its flat form because it's only just received the VR support, but I've since put quite a few hours in and it's been good. The game is a technical marvel. The way they've captured every corner of the earth is amazing. You can land a plane in the road outside your own house, or you can fly through the Grand Canyon. You can take a trip around the Eiffel Tower. You can fly down the Las Vegas Strip. Literally anywhere in the earth that you can think of, you can go to, and that's amazing. This game really does bring a feeling of freedom that you can't get anywhere else. Now there's a couple of ways you can play this game. You can either play it as a bit of a jump-in experience with the assists turned up and just go out for a nice relaxing journey, or you can try and learn all the technical details needed to fly a plane in real life. The game runs really well in VR. I was concerned at first because when I played it in its flat form, I saw how much my computer was struggling and I thought this is only going to be harder when I play it in VR. But I was amazed when I booted it up just how nice and smooth it feels. I'm sure I'm still getting the low FPS that I was in the flat panel version, but it just doesn't feel like it. It feels nice and responsive, and it's just a really, really good experience. So if you've been holding off jumping into this for that reason, I would reassure you and say, look, just give it a go. Now, I haven't got the time or the attention span needed to learn all the technical details of flying a plane or to go on the sort of long haul flights that lots of people have been going on. So for me, it's been a jump in and jump out experience. Maybe if I had that time, it would have made it further up the list because I know a lot of people have been absolutely raving about that. But for me, it's just a really fun game and I'm going to keep coming back to it. That brings us to my 4th place game, which is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Now you might be surprised to see this game make the list because it feels like it came out quite a long time ago, but it actually came out this year in January. For me, Saints and Sinners has been a PC VR experience. It has since received some Quest support, and I've heard really, really good reviews of the Quest version, so well worth jumping into if you've got an Oculus Quest and want to do that. It's a story-driven single-player experience that is just amazing, and it has really pushed the industry into new levels. The way you can just explore any area is fantastic. The zombies feel so lifelike and responsive, and there's so many different ways you can take them on. You can try and go stealthy and infiltrate areas without getting seen. You can go guns blazing. You can pick up melee weapons. Pretty much everything around you is interactable, and that is just fantastic. But a bit of a warning, it can be terrifying. It really, really does scare you. I've had a few points where I've just had to put it down for a little while to get back to my senses before jumping back in. But I always do jump back in. This is a game that just keeps pulling you back. The character design is fantastic. Everybody you meet looks really, really well thought out, and the dialogue is really good too. There's been no word of a sequel, and they have since released Walking Dead Onslaught, which didn't receive quite as good reviews. So hopefully the devs take some learnings from that and go back to the drawing board and bring more content like this, because Saints and Sinners was an absolute winner. And that brings me to my third place game, which is going to be Automobilista 2. Now you might be surprised to hear that name, because this game doesn't get spoken about very often, and that's always a surprise to me because I think it's the best sim on the market for VR. The game launched earlier in the year, and the content has just been growing and growing since. We're continually getting new cars, getting laser scan tracks, and it's just becoming a really, really exciting game. The game runs on the Madness engine, which is the same engine that Project Cars 2 ran on, but they've really pushed it to a new level. The weather cycles are fantastic. The changes from day to night is brilliant. The way the sun comes down just looks amazing in your VR headset. But a word of warning, this is a true driving sim. This is not an arcade racing experience. So if you're coming from the likes of Forza, then this might not be for you. But if you enjoy games like Assetto Corsa, iRacing, Assetto Corsa Competizione, then you're going to like this game. The only shortcoming I can see for this game is the small player base. It can be difficult to find an online lobby, but when you get one, you have a great time. And the single player experience is fantastic. So that brings me to my second place title, and that's going to a game that I think on any other year might have taken first place because of how well it's gone down with the users. I'm talking about Population 1. Population 1 is an amazing multiplayer experience. It's got pick up and play arcade shooter fun, and it just works fantastically. Something that's blown me away about this game is how many new users I've spoken to that this is the first game they've played and they've experienced no motion sickness. I think it's just so well optimized in the way the movement is dealt with that people just don't have any issues. I've heard people then jump straight into another game and just get hit by this nausea almost instantly where they're not used to this kind of thing. But this game just nails it and you get none of that. The game's had lots of content updates since it launched. So we've had little events where you have to seek things out in a sort of treasure hunt style. We've had changes to the map with the seasons. There's a small autumn update and then a big winter update that really changed how the game plays. But the thing that really makes this game shine is the way that you interact with your squad. So you're placed in a random squad of 3 people, and you really need to communicate with your squad if you're going to win, and everyone gets on board with this almost immediately. If you see an enemy coming over the horizon, you tell your teammates. If you're low on shields and your teammates see some shields out in the field, then they'll let you know. I've met some really, really nice people playing this game, and I'm sure that's what keeps pulling me back in to play more and more. A few people were quite aggrieved when the game first launched because they saw the trailers and thought, this looks a bit too Fortnite-y for me, that's not my kind of thing. But it's not anything like Fortnite. This game is a game all of its own, and it doesn't even feel like Fortnite visuals when you're playing the game. It really does feel like something special. So if you've been guilty of thinking that yourself and that's what's held you back from trying it out, don't worry, it's worth a go. So that brings me to first place, and I think the first place game is going to be a surprise to no one. There's been an absolute runaway winner this year. I'm of course talking about Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alyx has set the standard for what we can come to expect from a VR game. It brought us our first real AAA title, and it just hasn't failed in delivering on every promise it made. You've got mind-blowing visuals. You've got engaging combat using a variety of weapons that all feel fantastic and are really, really fun to use. The environments are brilliant. You can spend hours looking at the smallest of details. I've spent so long just holding a can up to my face just thinking, I can't believe this isn't real. You've got head-scratching puzzles that really make you get your thinking cap on, and you've got moments of genuine terror. If you haven't met Jeff yet, then you don't know what fear is. I won't give any secrets away. Go and play the game. Now season all that with some laugh-out-loud moments from Rhys Darby's portrayal of Russell the troubled genius, and you're in for a real winner. For me, this is not just the VR game of the year, but this is the game of the year on any platform, on any medium. This has set the standard for what we can hope to see, and I'm really, really excited for what the future brings now that we've got this game in our catalogues. So there we go. What a year. Do us a favour. If you like that, press the like button. If you'd like to see more videos like that in the future, press subscribe. It really helps me out, and I'll see you in the new year. Thank you very much. Goodbye.